I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. If you're looking for Troubled Minds Radio, you're in the right place. I am your host, Michael Strange. I am here with your co-host, Frank Pierce. And we would like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. You guys know the drill. We're recording this live, so you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. It's right there on the Facebook stream. Hop on, talk to Frank and Mike, and we'll talk about all kinds of amazing things. We'll talk about the things you're not supposed to talk about. We'll talk about things that might get you in trouble. We'll talk about things that might get you put on a list. Because that's what we do. That's why we made this show. We figured we didn't, in our meager, feeble lifetimes, we hadn't flown too close to the sun, so we decided to give it a shot. And so here we are. And here you guys are with us for the journey. What's up? All right, so you guys know the drill. This is a free-for-all show, so what we're going to do is we got some news articles picked out, but if you guys got stuff you want to talk about, we prefer calls. Please call. Makes things very much easier. Or jump on Discord, and we'll talk about these things. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll run through our news articles, and we'll chop it up like usual. So we are open to new stuff and other stuff that we haven't heard of or haven't talked about, or if you want to follow up on things that we've talked about previously, no problem. We could do that too. So it's a open forum. So this one's for you guys. So when we don't have time on the other shows, this one we do. So we make the time. So here we are. But before we do that, I'm talking way too much here. All right, before we do that, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, your co-host, Frank Pierce.
Hello, I'm Frank Pierce. Back again, looking at all these ask questions and try to solve them in whatever way we can. Often we may seem crazy, often we may seem paranoid. Paranoid especially can be used to describe me. But that's sometimes how you...
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties, Frank. You're cutting out quite a bit here. we killed your intro. We can do that again if you want to do that again. You want to change servers real quick?
Let's get into it.
Let's change servers real quick on Discord, see if that helps. Okay, while we're doing that, I'm going to read some comments here. Just a few shout-outs here. What's up, Ernie? Ernie gets first. Kimberly, hello. Michael, Juan, Tim, Kimberly again. Thanks for showing up, guys. We got some technical issues here we're working out, but don't worry, we're not going anywhere. So as we figure this out, we'll do some things. We'll do what we're gonna do. Yeah, we lost Frank. Frank's working on it.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. Is that better? I hear you. I hear you.
Okay.
Keep talking. Say something for a minute. Let's see if you cut out and cut in.
Yeah, I think I was talking about securing my tinfoil hat to my head near the end of my little introduction there, and I think maybe that's warranted. Lately, we've been noticing several issues with Discord, which is what we use to communicate. And again, if you want to get on the show, please join the Discord, and we'll bring you into the chat, and we'll talk, and you can say your piece. If you don't want to use your phone, if you don't want the government knowing what your phone number is, well, that's a different way to do it. But yeah, we've been noticing some issues. So hopefully the little changes I've made just there have straightened things out. How does it sound? Sounds good. Sounds good. Not cutting out anymore. And we heard all of what you had to say, which is always good. All right. A few more comments here, and then we'll do what we do. So Tim's excited because he says, yes, right on time. Yeah. Hell yeah, right on time. Kimberly says, finally, this time I'm going to try and stay awake. Last week I fell asleep at the beginning of the show. Last Tuesday, Thursday, and then Sunday night, I fell asleep right before the show started. It's midnight here. Yeah, right, we do. You know, we kind of planned that to be the witching hour on the East Coast. So if you're East Coast style, yeah. But, you know, no need to worry because we have archives of everything. So you can watch it here. You can watch it on, Facebook, YouTube, etc. You can listen to the audio on all those other things. So no need to kill yourself if you want to, not stay up late. But we appreciate you staying up late. And then Kimberly says she's also on that list already. Okay. Andy, what's up? Thanks for showing up. We got 2 thumbs up from Andy and Ernie. And then Kelly, good evening, all my alien brothers and sisters. Thanks for showing up, Kelly. Yeah, all right. So we're going to do this. We're going to talk about some things. Now that Frank's back. Now that Frank works. Frank's not broken anymore. All right. So here we are. What do you say, Frank? What do you want to do? Yeah, let's open up this article here. Start out with a fun one. Ohio teen captures image of what appears to be ghost. A ghost boy in his car. And that was a terrible read. But yeah, so this Ohio teen's a ghost hunter, and he's found a ghost boy in his car. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting that all this stuff's coming out again. Is that because now the mainstream media believes the ghosts are real? Or is that because people like me now are clicking on these stories due to the month of October? I'm not sure which it is. You tell me. Do you want me to tell you? Cue that up and play it, and then we'll talk about it. Oh, we're going to play the video? Okay. I didn't know there was a video here. Okay, so we got a Ohio teen captures image of what appears to be ghost boy in car. All right, let's see. Play this.
Whoa!
All right, here we go.
Whoa! Something just hit my truck. Something just hit my truck. Holy...
This teen says his truck is haunted.
Well, I'm done. Something just hit my truck. Something just hit my truck.
Paranormal buff Troy Vance says spirits have always been attracted to him. But when he photographed what looks like the ghost of a drowned boy in the front seat of the truck, it may have been too much. He says it wasn't the first time something freaky happened in his vehicle.
What's that perfume smell I'm smelling right now? Her?
Troy says after trying to record sounds of growls and whispers he heard in his truck.
Who's her? Does she not like it when I mess with the truck late at night or what?
Someone or something banged on his car.
I'm getting really... Oh! Whoa, 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 whoa! Something just hit my truck. Something just hit my truck. Holy...
Using a device to communicate with the paranormal,
Well, I'm done.
Troy tried to speak with the dead boy he thought he photographed in his car, but instead thinks he got the spirit of a woman.
What's that perfume smell I'm smelling right now?
As for what the ghostly images he shot, we may never know. I'm Kelly Nealon for InsideEdition.com.
Whoa, does that look like a Native American kid? Like, from several hundred years ago? So it's a little bit spooky. Did you guys see that? I saw that.
Yeah, so there's so many things to say about this story, and I'm not sure where to start. The first of all, they said this kid's he was a drowned boy appearing in this guy's truck. Well, how do they know? Again, this is often a symptom or something I'll see with all these stories, is they'll say the ghost of a murder.
Uh-oh.
They say all these sorts of specifics, but how do they know that this kid in his truck is haunted by a drowned woman? Like, there's really no way to be sure, right?
Come on.
I don't quite get it.
Come on, Frank, because he said so. That's all you need in this day and age. There's no...
And the second point
there's no
is...
due process for ghosts. You just accuse the ghost, and that's it. You win. You win. You're in. Very good. Yeah, but you cut out a little bit, so we may need to swap here. But keep going. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Technical difficulty. Okay. Second thing is, this kid's 15 and he has a haunted truck that he's driving around. Like, what's the age of driving in his state? Does it go as low as 15 in Ohio?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. Does anybody out there know? I know every state I've been in, it's 16. So what's up with this guy? This guy's super special? I don't know. What's up with this guy? That's a very good question.
Okay. Yeah. And anyway, interesting, fun story. Kind of lost the plot here, but basically, ghost truck. And there's a woman. So I'm just imagining this boy. He's sitting there. He's driving along in his truck, and there's a ghost boy beside him, and there's a woman with perfume in the back, and she's a ghost too. And he's playing this, the little clipping sound you hear. I don't know if you know what that device is, but what it is it scans through radio channels very quickly. So it gives like half a second to each radio frequency. And it just runs through the entire gambit of frequency after frequency. And ghost hunters, they see words or noises they hear is the ghost attempting to communicate through them across the range of frequencies. Very interesting.
Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, what do you guys think? Does that look legit? It almost looks like a painting. Like he took a picture and then had somebody paint that Native American boy in there, or I guess it's a girl because she drowned. Yeah.
Why are you saying it's a Native American boy?
It looks like a boy to me. I don't see hair. You see like bald. I see like bald. Is that what I see? Okay. That's what I see. Anybody else?
It's pareidolia, right?
Pareidolia. Okay, we got Tim says either face paint or something hanging from the mirror. It almost looks like a dream catcher, like hanging from the mirror on this guy's forehead, right? Is that bad form? You're probably going to call me racist now. Kimberly says it's 16, and Tim says looks older than 16, that guy. So, yeah, you know what he does. It took me, let's say, twice or 3 times that long to grow that much facial hair. So, yeah, maybe that guy is not 16 or 15. So Kimberly says you can get a permit age 15 in Ohio. So, and then Juan says my son is 15 and got his driver's license. Okay, so I guess it does exist out there. It's not just a made up story entirely. I think the guy could possibly have his own truck and his own driver's license. Tim says Spirit Box SB7. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds awesome. And then Juan says in Texas. Okay, so 15 years old, driver's license in Texas. So all right, plausible. And then says also adds it seems fake to me. Yeah, it seems sketchy to me. How about we'll say sketchy. We'll say sketchy. I'll go with sketchy. I don't know if Frank's still here, so we're gonna just pretend that Frank's here. Is Frank still here?
I'm still here.
Okay.
For
All right.
better or for worse.
Okay.
For worse, I'm still here.
All right. All right. Just I'm gonna check in every now and then if I'm talking too much, just to make sure Frank's still here. Okay. So there we go. So again, you guys know what we're doing. So we're doing open topics. We're gonna talk about these articles that we pulled up. We just kind of pull some fun stuff up, some stuff that we think is interesting and relevant that the regular news doesn't talk about, and that's why we do these shows. So, but more importantly, we want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So give us a call, 702-957-1037. We're watching the phone lines. We're watching Discord if you guys want to jump on there. If you want to leave a comment that's anonymous, and I'm not going to read your name, like Tim says, Spirit Box SB7, right? Just go to YouTube, and you could do make a fake name, fake screen name, and then just comment as Jimmy Bob 704, and you're anonymous, just like that, anonymized. Boom. Kelly says, I never heard of vehicles being haunted. It's said that objects can have spirits locked in them, like dolls or whatever. Yeah. We talked about some of that stuff in some of our previous scary shows. I hope they were scary and not corny. But same. I've never heard of a vehicle being haunted either. So what's up with that? What do you think about that there, Frank? Is another implausible batch to the story, or is that a newfangled ghost?
I'm not too sure about that. That seems pretty odd to me that this kid just happens to have a truck that has a elderly woman inside it, as well as a ghost boy, and they're driving around the countryside going on adventures together. But yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think I've ever heard of a vehicle being haunted before.
Okay, yeah, same here. Okay, so Tim clarifies that Spirit Box is the device he was using. On the topic of ghosts, you're welcome to show my photos. Okay, cool. I think there's so many things, so little time. I haven't got a chance to look at them, but I'll pull them up and we'll do that. Yeah, okay. So what do you guys think? Give us a call, please. 702-957-1037. We had Cole call in last time. It was a pretty good call. He said, "What's up?" He wanted to talk about the Clintons and how Bill Clinton actually didn't have any. They didn't tell him. He wasn't classified enough to know about Area 51. So there you go. Anyway, so yeah, so we're if you guys saw our last show, we'd like some feedback. What do you think about the? We tried to do a scary show with some ghosts and some stories and some things like that. So feedback on that would be great. Otherwise, just call in, say what's up. That you've been listening and you got some feedback, and we'd love to hear it because we want to get better. But yeah, okay. So anything else on the Ohio team there, Frank?
Nope, that's it. Unfortunately.
That's it. Boom, just like that. That's it. Okay. What did I have? I had a good one here. A couple more comments. Kimberly says, I used to see an abandoned bus as a kid. There was right nearby my home. It looked spooky, and we thought it was haunted. Used to get eerie feelings off the school bus. That's creepy. It's like something straight out of like one of them Hollywood movie type things. Did you ever see any ghosts on it, or anything like that, or like a Indian kid sitting there, Native American, I should say, to clarify, or whatever. Anyway, I'm not making fun of you, just making fun of the story we just read. Okay, we got some other stuff here. Let's see. What do we got? Something else there, Frank? I got hold on, I got one.
Okay, I got another winner here, hopefully.
Okay.
So, scientists are figuring out how to farm on Mars. So we had a couple of stories in the past about these Earth substitutes, or these soil substitutes from the moon as well as from Mars, where we can't go to the moon and Mars and collect a bunch of soil samples and bring them back to experiment with. So these businesses and companies now are making these soil substitutes that are exactly identical in every way to what you would find on Mars and to what you would find on the moon. And it's big business. Like, the price of these things is skyrocketing as more and more companies get involved with these soil substitutes. So they're buying up these things, they're using them in their machinery they want to patent and they want to sell to build bricks, for example, through 3D printing, or in this case, farming. So a couple of people here bought some of this Mars regolith type material, and they're using it to grow plants. Now, we saw this in The Martian, or read it in The Martian. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but the guy goes on Mars and he's growing potatoes. Anyway, here, so previous to this point, that had never been done before. No one's actually using this material to see if it can support growth of plants and whatnot. But here they're going ahead and doing it. So there's a picture down there. They're growing some lettuce sprouts in Martian soil. So there we go. We have water there. We've recently discovered near the poles. Now we know the soil can support the growth of plants of all types. All we have to do is get there, right? Get there, take that water, split it into hydrogen and oxygen. We can breathe the oxygen. We can burn the hydrogen for heat. Water into the soil. Add in some seeds. That's all you need, right? Just need food, just need heat. And we're ready to go.
Ready to go. And wouldn't that long-term terraform? Because you're turning the CO2 into oxygen with plants there. Might take 1,000 years or 10,000 years, but it'll happen, right? Eventually. Start planting stuff.
So I think the big issue with Mars right now, according to the mainstream, of course, Randy Kramer says you can go to Mars right now and breathe perfectly fine, but according to the mainstream is there's no atmosphere. The pressure is so low. So you couldn't terraform the entire planet necessarily because you need to get that gas from somewhere. You needed to get billions and trillions of tons of CO2 and oxygen and put that in the atmosphere before you could walk around on the surface. So this would, of course, have to happen under domes and, maybe in cave systems or something like that. But it's clearly possible. You could pick up some of that soil, as they've proven here, and grow things in it. And again, this, perhaps more importantly, this is a sign or a symptom of, I think, where the world's going now. Is 5 years ago we weren't seeing any of this news, but it's just coming out rapid fire now, where people are investing time and energy in these technologies to subsist on Mars, to live there for whatever reason. And this is just more of it. We can grow plants with that material fine. So again, I think this thing's really happening. We're really going there. I know they wanted to go there 40 years ago and then never happened. They wanted to go there 30 years ago. It never happened. But it looks like, from the looks of things, we're going.
I think we have to. It's like we sat on our laurels for so long that everybody else is catching up. Everybody's got things in space, and these private companies are passing up NASA and the government. So of course, space race is on, like an actual space race, not two countries, one succeeding, one failing. It's actually happening. A couple more comments here. Kimberly says, I used to think I was seeing shadows, talking about that old abandoned school bus. And but as a child, you're taught that everything is just your imagination. That's true. That's an interesting, probably a whole show right there. We discount kids because they're kids, but like what kind of stuff are they actually seeing? So that's a good point. Tim says, I've enjoyed every show I've heard so far, going on 5 or 6 shows now. Hey man, thanks. That's good feedback. We like that. We like constructive feedback too. So if you guys, we're not here just to what would be the term without being crude there, Frank? We're not here to solicit.
Don't blow smoke up our ass. Tell us if there's an issue.
There you go.
We can improve.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Thanks. See, Frank's always here to save me. When I'm about to say something really stupid, man, having a Frank in your back pocket is amazing, I tell you. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, okay. So thank you. We appreciate that feedback. But yeah, feedback and saying that, this isn't your type of show, or you want to see more of this or less of that, that's cool too. It's all good. Okay, and then Daniel, Tim says, perhaps they sent seeds up with a rover to plant. Maybe, huh? That's an interesting take. It's buried, so all it has to do is let the seeds out now, right? Pray for some water. That thing never got out, right? Have you been watching that one, Frank?
Yeah, I've been following it up because we made that bet that I forced you into, and no communication with that solar panel rover. I believe I can never keep them straight, but the opportunity is still going around, but the curiosity is buried and gone.
Okay, buried and gone. All it needs is the seeds. Okay, Daniel says, I was wondering if we were originally from Mars, possibly had to leave and take excess water with us. Maybe, you know what, if you're into that, go back and watch one of our shows. It's we talk about the Lost Book of Enki and the Anunnaki and Planet X and Nibiru, and there's a story that goes back to the ancient Sumerian tablets of translated by one Zacharias Sitchin, and he talks about the Anunnaki who from 750,000 years ago came from Planet X, and then actually had some business on Mars as well as on the Earth. So yeah, there's some lore to that. There's some internet things out there talking about that. So yeah, possibility, right? I think
there are. Sorry to interrupt. There are thousands and thousands of hours of what I would say is quality content on YouTube, where people are looking at these images from satellites, from the rover, and they're seeing also. We've done a show on this too. There's all sorts of patterns and structure-looking things and abandoned vehicles and all this type of stuff. And I would say there's hundreds of thousands of hours of mediocre content, but there's thousands of hours of good quality content analyzing these images, looking at these things, these incongruities. There's so many things that you can point to that says we were there at one time and we're no longer there for whatever reason that is.
Yeah. Remember too, we're not here to just drink the Kool-Aid because somebody says it, we believe it. We want to talk about these things. We want to ask some of these questions, and we want to shake out the truth the best we can. So just because Zacharias Sitchin says it doesn't mean we buy it hook, line, and sinker, but we think it's worth talking about. If it's possible, then it's worth talking about, right? So yeah, that's the thing. If you hear us say it, it doesn't necessarily mean we believe it, but we think it's worth talking about, which is why we're talking about it. So good stuff. Kelly says, I believe that would be impossible due to the fact that the soil is eating up the tracks, or should I say they think there is germs in the dirt that is doing that. Oh, is it eating up the tracks too on the rover? I hadn't heard that either. I'm sure we have links incoming. Yeah. So Kelly pointed out the rover getting cleaned off by some astronaut up there, or whatever. Oh, he says, okay, that's what NASA says. Yeah, okay, NASA, never a straight answer. Yeah, I haven't heard that one, but I believe it. They've said some pretty amazing things. So what do you guys think? Are we going to farm on Mars? Is this actually happening? The billionaires of the world, evil capitalists, are going to push us to Mars and beyond? I don't know. What do you think, Frank? Is it going to happen, or is this just marketing? They're trying to squeeze more money out of us?
Again, it's the stories of 30 and 20 years ago were all speculated. Nothing. They were saying, let's go to Mars. We could do this. We could do that. We might be able to do this. And nowadays, we're getting a different angle on this. We're seeing a picture of a plant growing in Martian soil. So there is a big difference in my mind between the stories of yesteryear and the stories of today. And again, as soon as people invest their money in something, that's a sign that it's serious. You can talk all you want, you can say this and that, but as soon as people are buying this material and actually growing things inside of it, I think you can take them more seriously.
Yeah, that's like it's happening. Like people are, once people figure out how to grow marijuana in the Martian soil, it's over. It's over. We're gonna get a mass exodus. They'll be like, all right, we're out of here. Later, guys. We're going to the most abundant marijuana fertile ground ever. Yeah, that's what's happening, right? Obviously I jest, but maybe if they can find a way to eat it, man, it's game over. Good game.
It's interesting. Imagine one day you look up in the sky and you see the moon, and you think of the moon now silvery, shiny in the sky. But imagine one day you look up at the sky and you don't see a silvery thing up there. You see a green orb because it's covered with life. And that's an amazing imagery, to me anyway, that we could do that we have the capabilities for that we could cover the moon in greenery, should we so choose. And I hope we do.
I hope we do. That's an amazing thought there. They say that the first person to live to 1,000 years old has been born. Do you believe that?
No, I don't. They say that every year.
Yeah, I think
it's
you're
never
right.
True.
Yeah, they say it every year. Okay, a few more comments here. I just wanted to throw that into the mix just to get you on the record. What you thought about the BS going around. Kimberly says, what scares me most is to think that we humans are only a subspecies, and that we're like pets to the ETs, since they're so much more powerful than us. Yeah, right. If they have much greater technology and they wanted to stay hidden, they could stay hidden. Period. If we wanted to cloak ourselves from, chimpanzees in the African Sahara or what have you, we could do it, right? Because from one species to another, our technology is superior. So, to take that thought and say that aliens could avoid us in the same manner using technology, of course. We've got cameras out there. Go ahead.
I'm going to disagree with that, actually. You just said if we could cloak ourselves from chimpanzees, we could do it. I don't think we could. I think that there's a certain state of these animals, of different life forms, of different species, where they fit in their niche and they can thrive there. We could not go on the African savanna and survive lions. Eventually, as history has proven several times, they would wander into our towns and kill us, right? We could kill them, sure, but I don't think we could hide from them. I think they would sniff us out and find us in no time at all. And the same thing here with aliens is, yeah, we can say they're advanced in technology, we can say they're, so powerful, but they're just as dumb as we are if they crashed in Roswell. They're just as dumb as we are if Phil Schneider's underground gunned them down with his sidearm. I don't think they may be different, that's a given, but I don't think they're necessarily better. Let's put it that way.
Well, okay, so I'm with you there, but this is what I mean. So imagine, a few years from now, when we have super satellites up there that have like amazing imaging, and we can literally just zoom in, and you know what I'm saying. So if we can observe animal life with like satellites, or like with planted cameras, or those types of things. That's what I'm saying. So like if you put a camera there and leave like a GoPro and it's just running, the wildlife gets used to it and they forget that it smelled like a human at one time, and they just keep on trucking, so they eventually act normal again. So that's what I mean. So it's like, just because we see them here and there, or there's sightings of this, or abductions, or cattle mutilations, or what have you, in the same vein, we humans just keep on trucking, even though they say, like War of the Worlds style, that the people would freak out given the fact that disclosure happens. Like, the world would turn upside down because people realize aliens are real. Anyway, that's my point. So I don't want to belabor this point too much, but you see what I'm saying. So like, we could if we wanted to, and just because a little bit sags out now and here and again from some kind of technology, satellite or the GoPro, for example. They adapt, and they just keep on doing what they do. Their life doesn't stop. So anyway, okay, got some more comments here, but anyway, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off and say that's the end of it, but go ahead and answer. Tell me what's up, Frank.
And I think that's a very defeatist attitude, because look, these dumb aliens, honestly, is now that we're onto them with this infravision, we know we need IR cameras to see them, and we're seeing these UFOs flying around in the infrared spectrum. Well, we've caught on. So much for their advanced technology. That wasn't a stretch. They're not invisible by any means. Now we know how to detect them, apparently through this Tom DeLonge and other videos where you can't see them in visible light, but you can see them with infrared. So again, like, I think we think aliens, we think UFOs, we think, oh my goodness, they must be so advanced. But just as all people are stupid, sure, we have phones and sure we have computers, but we're stupid. I think that aliens are equally stupid in different ways. And so to attribute to them this godlike quality, I don't believe it. I think we're just as dumb as they are.
Okay, I see. They're fallible as well. Okay, I can buy that. Michael says 10 years from now. I'm not sure what that means. It's probably in context to something we were talking about in the past. If you want to elaborate, 702-957-1037. Please give us a call. we'd love to have you call in and tell us what that means. And there you go. Jeremy says, Jeremy, thanks for showing up. He says, Art and Richard were some of my favorite Coast to Coast episodes. Thanks, guys, for the very entertaining show. We're not worthy. We are totally not worthy. Art is one of our heroes and the man, so that's a gigantic compliment. But I think Frank would agree. We're not worthy. Thank you, though. That's very nice. Let's see. And then Kimberly says, and if they're making human-alien hybrids, humans would be inferior. Yeah, I think for sure. You know, like the second you start what's that CRISPR DNA editing things, you can start making, you know, what are we going to do? Woolly mammoths are coming back? Did you hear about that one, Frank? It's about to happen. We could pull that article up. I just saw it today. They're talking about that CRISPR gene editing, gene sequencing, or what have you. So yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, of course. I think there's no argument there. Jeremy says, Martian Redbud, new Cannabis Cup winner. There you go. Wow. You just took my joke and made it way more funny. Okay, and Kimberly says, if it's true that they take samples from human abductees to create hybrids. Yeah, you know what? We should do a whole show on that. That's coming. It's on the list for sure. Where it's we talk about the genetics and how it's been talked about for quite a while, and how, you know, the ancient Egyptians and their gods are possibly exactly that. So yeah, definitely good comment. Kelly says, I don't think we are inferior. We are a very powerful species. We just lost what was taught to us thousands of years ago. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that too. We kind of don't know our potential yet. You know, we're kind of swimming in the the lake of our, what would you say, our malaise, or our clicking, putting up shitty articles for clicks. It's what we're doing as a species, and you know, arguing over stupid politics. Yeah, yeah. I'm talking too much, Frank. Save me, buddy.
I was just thinking to myself, and I wonder if you agree with me in any way whatsoever, that there's probably one person out there, at least one person out there, who was either super drunk, maybe high on methamphetamines or bath salts, and the aliens came by and they said, hey, let's abduct this character here. And they take him up to the ship, and they're trying to control his mind or her mind and keep them underwhelmed and suppressed. But this girl is so drunk or so high on bath salts that they just fight off the aliens. And they probably killed the aliens. Is that crazy? What do you think? I'm sure it has happened. I'm sure that there is one guy or girl who's gotten away with it.
You think somebody hopped up on PCP, fought off the aliens sometime?
I really do. I think that has happened.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's happened. That for whatever reason, let's go back to John Edmonds from the Stardust Ranch, where, you know, he said he suffered from brain damage due to an auto accident at one point in his life, and that's why the aliens couldn't exert their control over him, because the way his physiology was changed in some way. Well, I have to imagine that similar to him, there's other characters out there who have fought off the aliens. They've tried to take him, and whatever they were trying to do, it just didn't work.
I'd love to see that movie. You want to make that movie, Frank? I think we should make that movie. It's a Fire in the Sky on PCP. The humans win this time. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm with you. I'm entertained. Are you not entertained? Well, I am. Kimberly says, but if the hybrids are learning how to live here from humans, I think they could blend in and look like humans. Hybrids. Sorry, I worry a lot. I'm not sure you worry more than Frank. Frank's worried about the PCP cage fight with the aliens.
Whoa. Actually, that just reminded me of something. Let's go back to the stories we heard in a previous episode of these reptilian shapeshifters. They're so advanced in their technology. They're so, you know, they can blend in with humanity so well, and yet people see them. People see their eyes shift. People see their facial features shift. They're not as crafty as they think they are. People are noticing these things. People are detecting them. So again, I'm resistant to this idea that aliens are all powerful and godlike. I think they're just as dumb as we are.
Well, I don't know about just as dumb. I'll agree that they're fallible like us. You know, even if they are some kind of AI instead of you know, some kind of flesh and blood. Because it would make sense, right? If they were some kind of AI in little robot suits, you know, little like people type skins, you know, like the gray aliens they profess to be, or some people say. You know, I would think that you know, their programming, if it took them forever to get here, then their programming is imperfect, right? So fallible. I'm with you. I agree. I think we can beat the aliens. Just give me the PCP. Give me the red Martian bud. We're good. We're good to go. Kelly says they blend in more than people know. And Kimberly says when I was contacted, they had me under impression that they are our sub-creators. We'd love to hear about that when you, like I said, when you get up to it, Kimberly. We'd love to hear about that. And then she says I was sober the entire time during my encounter. And in fact, they ordered me to stop taking all meds immediately. I do my best to not take meds at all. You know, besides a little beer here or there. I don't really take aspirin or any of that stuff, so I agree. I think, you know, if you guys are on meds, Dr. Mike says, take less meds. Is that sound doctor advice there? What do you think, Frank?
No, I think we need to start using this Martian bud, and then the cases of alien abductions will drastically decrease. Okay,
maybe. Tim says tweaker fighting aliens with karate. Oh, yeah, okay. You want to watch Frank's movie? That's cool. So do I. Let's make that one. Kelly says, Kimberly, I would like to hear about your stories. Yes, I agree. But, you know, it's a traumatic thing for her. So, again, when you're ready, we don't want to push you to that. But many of us are curious. So, Kimberly, when you feel up to it, if you want to write something to us, like we said before, send it in. We'll read it. And that way you don't have to get on a call or something and feel like you're on the spot. But we'd love to hear it. Not just us, Frank and I, obviously, everybody else who enjoys your company here in the stream. So when you feel ready, we're ready for you to take the story. And then she says they even got me to quit smoking cigarettes immediately as well. Well, find a way to package that, because if you can package that, then you can boom, just put it in the local grocery store, and then you're the one going to Mars. You're going to compete with Elon Musk. And then she'll say, I don't take any medications at all anymore. I deal with the pain without it. There you go. I think that's probably the most healthy for the human body. But, you know, don't be in pain too much. Too much pain's not good either. Okay, want to do another one for Frank? We got comments coming fast and furious, so I appreciate it, guys. You guys are amazing. But let's move on to another thing here, and we'll talk about we'll move on from Red Martian Bud, and we'll talk about maybe something else. What do you got, Frank?
Okay, well, we're talking about aliens. We're talking about UFOs. Well, here's one. Here's an interesting video that blew my mind when I saw it. So, from Skywatch International, UFO leaves a lunar crater. Let's pull that up and play it.
Right, lunar crater. Let's see. Which one? So many here. There's so many. So many. Was it YouTube? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. UFO leaves a lunar crater. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Autoplay. CNN autoplay. Okay, here we go. UFO leaves a lunar crater. Okay. Putting it up, and action. All right, so we got a video here. We're looking at, it looks like a, oh, there's something moving down there. Okay, so it looks like the surface of the moon. Dark on the left side here. There's a light on the right side. And it looks like on the bottom, oh no. Okay, in the middle, it looks like something just flew out of the moon. Like a little tiny speck there. Oh yeah, play this in slow-mo. All right, let's see. Okay, so then it goes super close up. And what are we seeing here? It looks like, okay, something is coming up out of the crater. Where does it make the crater? Still watching. So this little dot looks like it's got some kind of thrust to it, like a little, what the heck? Yeah, okay. Explain to me what I just saw there, Frank. I'm confused.
So go to about 50 seconds and play it around there, like scrub back and forth around 50 seconds in, and you can see a zoomed in image of a lunar crater, and this saucer-shaped object comes out. And this, to me, is very compelling for several reasons. The first being that this thing leaves a shadow, right? So that's a good way to detect, fraud or fraudulence. This thing leaves a shadow on the surface that you can see in some of the other timestamps. Second of all, this isn't debris coming out. This isn't some asteroid hitting and then debris ejecting from the surface, because this is one solid object and it moves in a controlled fashion. It's not in a parabolic arc, let's put it that way. There's no other pieces of debris adjacent to it. I've seen a couple of videos where an asteroid hits the moon and then some stuff is ejected, and then people say, that must be a UFO. But no, this thing is a uniform object, it leaves a shadow, and it's coming out in a controlled manner from this crater, which of course we can't see inside. I don't know, to me, this is pretty compelling.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good to me. At least in the fact that I thought it was going to make a crater. Did I read that wrong? It was going to create one? It came out of one. Am I just confused?
Yeah.
I could be confused.
Are we watching the same thing? UFO leaves lunar crater.
Oh. UFO leaves a lunar crater. I thought it created one. See? See what I did with the verb there? I changed it in my brain. Okay, got it. I was waiting for it to create a crater, and I'm a moron. Mike, you're a moron. Okay. Okay, now I'm with you. We're on the same page. It flies
are you
out
seeing
of
what I'm seeing?
a
This
crater.
saucer-shaped object leaving the crater.
Right. Not leaving one as it takes off. It is physically leaving a physical crater. Okay, I'm with you. Now I'm less confused and more impressed. But yeah, I agree. So it's not. It doesn't have that elliptical orbit type thing where it looks like it's within the bounds of the gravitational action of the moon. It's coming directly out of the moon itself and flying straight up. Like you said, there's a shadow. It almost looks like there's some kind of thrust there too, right? Like it's got a some kind of maybe a light behind it, or a rocket trail, or what would you call that? Like a gas or something. It looks like something's kind of pushing it, which is pretty cool. Okay.
Another interesting point about this video is note the darkness. Note the hemispheres here. We have the light hemisphere on the right-hand side, and we have the dark side of the darkened area on the left-hand side. And this thing is right on that periphery. It's right on the edge of where we wouldn't normally be looking. Normally we focus on the main areas, the man and the moon type areas. But this is right on the edge. So again, maybe this alien, he took off a little too early. His launch window was in 10 minutes, but he had a business meeting to get to, and he said, no one's looking, and he took off, and now we caught him.
Caught him. Busted. Now the Space Force is onto him. Take that. A couple more comments. We got comments coming fast and furious. Michael says, I had a buddy who drove in his own car out to a packing company in the fields. Gets out of the car and steals a company car going on a speed chase. He was high off his ass, yes. But when they asked him why he did it, he said he was running away from a UFO tracing him. All right. Do you have video of that? Did he have a GoPro on? Because we'd love to see the footage if you got it. Great story, Michael. Thank you. Kimberly says they played a recording of an old man coughing like he was dying repeatedly every time I went to light up a cigarette. Wait, so you heard this after the fact? So after the encounter that you had, this recording kind of stuck in your brain, like it was like something to prompt you to stop smoking. That's pretty amazing. And she says it was painful to listen to. So yeah, that's cool. Never heard of that one.
Maybe it's my contrarian nature, but if an alien told me to stop smoking, I'd be smoking cigars every day. Damn aliens.
Yeah, right. Don't tell me what to do. That's excuse me, it's scary if anybody knows anybody who's smoked and died from it. That's all I had to see. My grandfather had emphysema. No smoking for me. I'm with you, aliens. No smoking. Kelly says, yeah, it flies out of the crater, and you can see the shadow on the crater walls. Exactly, yeah. And too much red Mars bud. Oh, dude, we need like a patch. It's like red Mars bud or something. We'll go back and get that comment. Who left that comment? That was amazing. I'm gonna have to pull that out. It was Jeremy, I think, right? Martian Red Bud, new Cannabis Cup winner. There you go. We'll have the Martian Cannabis Cup. Oh, geez. And then yeah, and then she's oh, so this was during the encounter. Okay, so it wasn't it didn't stick to you after the fact. It's when the craving came for the cigarette, it played in your head, or they played it for you, like a hologram, like kind of beamed into your head, or how did that go? How'd that go? That's pretty cool. Okay, so yeah. What we talking about, guys? We got an open phone line here, right? It's ticking. Tick-tock, 702-957-1037. If you want to call in, just say hi. We'd love that. Or if you want to get on Discord and tell us a story about anything. It's October, Halloween style coming up. So if you want to tell a ghost story, we'd love to hear it. It doesn't even have to be your own ghost story. If you want to tell us a story, any kind of story, we'd love to hear it. Feedback on the show, you just want to say hi. We'd love that. Love for you to say hi. We'd love to say hi to you. So 702-957-1037, or click on the Discord link, and boom. Otherwise, I'm going to continue here talking about what's the next one, Frank? What do you got, buddy?
I was just thinking more on this thing, is we really need some kind of publicly funded rover that we can put on Mars, and maybe we can connect it to Twitch TV or YouTube and just live stream the entire thing. And, you know, if the audience votes to go left, this thing goes left. If the audience votes to go right, this thing goes right. And it live streams everything back, and we actually see all the details and the photos unedited entirely. Now, I say publicly funded. NASA is publicly funded, but they're not doing this kind of thing. But we really need this, because there's so many things, and going back to our moon episode, going back to other episodes, there's so many things like this where this is something coming out of a crater, and we'll never hear about this again. This is legitimate data. This is something very, and we're never going to hear about it. And NASA, maybe they'll make fun of it at some point, but that's the most they'll do. They won't drive their rover on over to this crater and take a peek inside. No way. It's just never going to happen. And I don't know. It's very disappointing to me.
Yeah, I think again, you know, one more reason why we're doing this show, because the news cycle blows. Tons of this stuff comes out. You know, we talked about one of my pet peeves is that To the Stars. I keep talking about them because they piss me off. You know, we've got tons and tons of evidence just rolling out from random people with cell phones and GoPros and what have you. But you know, on the other hand, this guy generates a ton of money through donations, has government backing, and he's got 3 crappy videos. Right? That's all they got. Right? Like, come on. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing adds up about any of that. And, you know, all the evidence that people have, that people put forth, it's all over YouTube. You know, sure, a huge chunk of it's fake, but what about the stuff that looks real and, you know, is legitimate or looks legit? I just, yeah. Anyway, it makes me mad. Kimberly says, I heard it as if an echo from down the hall from me, talking about the alien, encounter and the stop smoking thing. So and then I just said recording because only way to describe it, not sure what it was. Okay, so maybe like a telepathic message sort of thing. And then only lasted during the time I was staying at a hotel. Okay, and then it stopped, but it was enough to make you stop smoking. That's pretty powerful. And then Jeremy says, we won't need a patch, we'll just know. Okay. I'm with you. One more time, guys. This is your show. This show's all about you. So you want to give us a call, get on the show. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on. What else you got there, Frank? What are we talking about? I got some stuff, too, but I just keep
going. More UFOs. Let's keep this UFO train running. So, from Click on Detroit, Myrtle Beach UFO sighting. There's a video here. I'll ask you to play it. It was recorded on August 5th, submitted to the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, on August 4th. The footage appears to show several lights hovering in the air during a thunderstorm. So this is over in Myrtle Beach, and it sees kind of one of these cloud UFOs. One of these UFOs hiding within the clouds, but still giving itself away for some reason by shining lights. Let's take a look at this and talk about it afterwards.
All right, here we go. Action on the video. All right, what are we looking at here? Okay, we got to zoom in. Okay, it looks like it's in the cloud. That looks like a pretty big thing up there too. Wow. That was crazy. Okay, so so what we're looking at is a it's like a kind of the skyline from a distance of Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, and as you can see, like the big Ferris wheel and like the carnival stuff going on, and like these big buildings. But up in the clouds, there's this gigantic thing that you know, if size is any comparison based on the buildings and the Ferris wheel and all this other stuff, it's huge. I'm gonna play it one more time, a short video, but as the lightning strikes, yeah, you can see it kind of hanging out in the clouds right here. One more time. Action. I wonder if that's more than one. It looks like either it's one huge craft or a bunch of small ones, huh? What do you think?
So this is it's a complex topic. Let me try to mumble my way through this, but we've had a couple of stories in the past now about the decline in UFO sightings. So we're seeing less and less UFOs, and several news outlets have attributed this to the fact that there are less UFOs appearing, that people are seeing them less often. And the genesis of this information is that reports to the MUFON, these UFO reporting networks, has decreased. So because reports have decreased to these sighting networks, thereby there are less UFOs floating around the sky, right? So that's the idea. And here we have a story about a UFO that was reported to this MUFON network. Okay, so with me so far. Now, this video is not a UFO. So many were quick to dismiss the sightings as a simple case of lens flare. One commenter, however, on the MUFON website said that by using Photoshop, he found the lights in the sky directly corresponded to the brightest lights on the shoreline. So this is actually some kind of reflection of the lights on the shoreline up into the water vapor in the clouds, back into the camera. So this is not a UFO. But the reason I wanted to bring this story up is because of the name MUFON in here. So again, we've had this idea that there's less reports to this site, therefore there's less UFOs in the world. And now this is essentially what amounts to a hit piece on MUFON. We have a report to their network. We have a video that shows a UFO and people have thought is a UFO, but is not actually a UFO. And then the very final line here, MUFON is widely recognized as the go-to for UFO reports. If you happen to see some strange lights, report it here. They link to the MUFON network. So this is almost discouraging people from reporting. Are you following me so far? This is preventing people from reporting by highlighting the futility of doing it in the first place.
Yeah, so they debunk it and then say, if you guys see any other bullshit that's not UFOs, go ahead and report it to these guys because they're listening, right? is that a good way to break it down?
So we got a two-pronged attack here. First, we have something decrediting these UFO reporting organizations. We have something decrediting MUFON, saying, yeah, you could report to these guys, but they'll take anything. And the second attack here is we have people saying there's less UFOs in the sky because these reporting agencies are seeing less UFOs, which is not the case, obviously. And so, to me, there's something here. There's something deeper. There's a conspiracy here. And I'm almost thinking that we're going to start seeing a ton of UFOs in the sky. Coming up, maybe this year, maybe next year, we're going to start to see UFOs left and right, all over the place. And this is an attack, a pre-planned attack, to prevent people from reporting these things, maybe to keep panic levels down, maybe to, keep the population happy. But this is an attack. And I don't know. Help me out here.
It's okay, so this is local news. This is reported by clickondetroit.com. And so they're basically, I wonder if they know something's going on up in Detroit. and or it's going to be coming, right? So maybe you're right. Maybe it's it's one of those psychological operation type things where they're like pouring out stuff like this, where they they get you to click on it, and then you click on it with the title and the photograph, which obviously is not what we're looking at here. So we're looking at the photograph. It looks like the classic, kind of the Glock, or maybe disc-shaped UFO from like the 50s, right? So you click on it because of that possible UFO and this picture. Well, it doesn't look anything like this picture. And then when you get to the article itself, it's kind of goes through and shows you the video, and then says, you guys thought it was a UFO, right? Well, guess what? It wasn't. But
so
if you see UFO,
sorry to interrupt,
report it here. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is almost like salting the earth, right? This is almost like saying, well, if you're in Detroit and you report to these guys, you're an idiot. You shouldn't do it. That's what I'm taking away from this, and that's what I'm taking away from these previous attacks that we've seen on MUFON and UFOs in general. And interesting that they'll choose the corniest videos possible to highlight. So this is Click on Detroit, and yet this is a video from South Carolina, right? So it's not as if it's a local thing. They're choosing this terrible UFO video to highlight as a case study, not to report them, to keep silent, to keep quiet in some way. Whereas the previous video that we just showed, which is phenomenal, in my opinion, they're never going to show that. They're never going to show something that lends credibility to the organization as a whole. So there's something going on here, and I'm just getting this little feeling that we're going to start seeing UFOs coming fast and furious.
Because they don't know how to stop them. They don't know what they are. and yeah, so don't report them, guys. If you see one, nothing to see here. It's a lens flare. It's a military flare. It's a weather balloon. Et cetera, et cetera. Got a bunch of comments. Let's catch up. What do you guys think? Is this some kind of psychological operation? Is this like Frank and I are saying here? Nice take on this article there, Frank, because it is. If they're talking about this stuff and report it here and debunking the actual UFO in the article, I mean, that says something, right? Here we go. Okay, a few more comments. Okay. Catching up. What else? Okay. Only Kimberly says only lasted during the time I was staying at a hotel. So talking about the so if I was hearing voices, why did it only happen at the hotel and ever since? That's from the alien encounter. Good question. Good question. Got lots of questions from that encounter there. That's pretty amazing there, Kimberly. Good you stopped smoking. Good on you. Fred says, good evening, fellas. What's up, Fred? Thanks for showing up. And then Kimberly says maybe they're getting better at cloaking. Yeah. I think they're probably just toying with this at this point. And then he says, Jeremy says, I see a cigar-shaped shadow. Could be clouds, but the location isn't the same as their lights. And that was the video we're talking about in this article, right? So again, if you're looking for a UFO, you see a UFO. Like I said, it's either very large or there's a bunch of little ones, and then it's debunked in the same article. Kimberly says, I've had video of UFO footage mysteriously deleted off my phone overnight before. That's some next level Big Brother stuff right there. And then she adds, UFOs are difficult to capture on film. Yeah, you know what? Just like we've said this before, go out and try and take a picture of the moon, even a huge moon. It looks gigantic in the sky. You take a picture with your phone or even a nice camera, and what do you get? A tiny little dot. Even though the moon's huge, So if you get like a small UFO and you take a picture, it's going to be super small. You have to have like the right equipment. And if they're moving, it's really difficult. So that's the truth. Michael says that looks like an alien reproduction vehicle built in the 1950s. Yeah, that's the fake traditional fake UFO. He says Project Bluebeam. Yeah, exactly. Like back to what was that? Was it not Bluebeam? What was the one before Bluebeam? You know what I'm talking about. And then Kimberly says I don't know what I don't want to see widespread panic, but at the same time I want to see everyone show that they're real, so I don't seem so crazy. You're not crazy. Trust us, you're not crazy. It's coming. There's something out there. The military knows. The government knows. There's something out there. What it is to be determined, in my opinion. But there's something out there. Don't put yourself in the crazy bin just yet. Michael says, do you think a UFO invasion could bring the world together in unity? The movies tell us that. That's for sure. What do you think about that one, Frank? You think that would happen? Or do you think we just turn into a bunch of screaming, raging monkeys and like scatter like cockroaches?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would happen for sure. Is certainly, as we've kind of discussed before, I think that some cultures would take it much more. They wouldn't react well. Let's put it that way. Some cultures around the world. But I think that humanity as a whole is ingenious, and we can do anything we set our mind to. And so long as we're given a reason to unify in purpose, well, we can do whatever we want. But yeah, I don't know. This is what the news cycle does: is makes us fight left against right, black against white. Liberals against this, and so on. They're trying to make us fight amongst ourselves. They're trying to divide and conquer. And should something like this happen to give us a unification of purpose, well, I think the sky's the limit.
Well, what about Mike against Frank in a cage match? With PCP to the death. Okay, what's up, Todd? Todd shows up. He says, Project Blue Book. Yes, that's the one I'm looking for before a Blue Beam. Project Blue Book. Thanks, Todd. Thanks for showing up, man. Haven't seen you in a little while. It's starting to make me think you don't like us anymore. Kelly says, not my camera. Nokia 900 cool pics. I don't know what that means. I have great pics. Okay. Awesome. Yes. You did send us some pics in there. They're very good. So yeah, that's true. That's true. I can vouch. We've seen that. Yeah, so wait, didn't we have photographs we were going to look at from somebody earlier? All right, let's do another one. Take it away, Frank. I'm going to step away for just a second. Like 30 seconds, but pick a new one.
Let's open up this UFO sighting. Alien spaceship spotted passing through the sun from the express.co.uk. So if you scroll down here, there's an actual photograph of it, of this, what appears to be something emerging from the sun, and it looks like an object of some kind. So a little bit about this article. What do we got here? The UFO is huge. Since the sun is 109 times the diameter of the Earth, this UFO is an exact match in size, and yet it shot away so fast that it was not photos. So the object's luminosity indicates that it is not the same material seen on the surface of the sun, since no white glowing surface areas exist, only yellow. So you see this picture here, you got a frame of the sun on the left, and zooming in, what do we have there? We got something escaping from the sun. But it's an object. It's different in material properties than the surface of the sun. So the surface of the sun, and whatever filter they're using here, is a dull yellow color. You can see a few sunspots here and there. You can see a few dark spots. But looking at this object, it's bright, it's vibrant, and it's escaping. And it almost does have some kind of trail of something emitting from it. Now, I've seen photographs of coronal mass ejections. I've seen photographs of other material being released from the sun. And it's never this dense. It's never a single particle. It's always like a stream of water from a garden hose, for example, or a wave coming from the ocean. It's diffuse. It's not a single little particle like this. So this is pretty interesting. And
it almost looks like
I'm
a
not sure
comet.
what this means.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it almost does look like a comet of some sort, but again, could be evaporation from the comet is what we see as the comet's trail, but here it could be propulsion of some kind. Now, I know that in previous episodes we've covered this before, where we've seen UFOs entering the sun, or things entering the sun. And I know we watched a video, I can't recall the details, where they're using the sun as some kind of gateway. So I guess the gravitational pull of the sun is so high that they can charge towards it, gain a bunch of speed, and then perhaps enter a black hole, I believe was the speculation before, and transit using the sun. And here we see the opposite of this as something leaving the sun in some way. So what do you think about this photograph?
I think it's exactly like you say. It looks anomalous for sure. It almost looks like maybe like a UFO, or it definitely doesn't look like something you'd expect to see. And, creeps me out, of course. Here we go. I like this quote right here from the article. Only an ancient alien race could build a ship that could travel inside the sun and withstand such temperatures. It's a pretty good quote. Does this have Kardashians on the right side?
It does have some WWE wrestling, but no Kardashians. So I think we're safe. No fake news here.
All right, we're safe. All right.
Interesting, too. Look at the timestamp on this photograph. The end of September. What happened at the end of September?
Oh, that was the sunspot thing, wasn't it? When they closed down the solar observatory.
Exactly. So it's interesting here that, again, we were seeing strange stuff with the sun around that time, and now this new data is coming out. So this is actually from the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory satellite. So this same satellite that got this object transiting the sun in two different ways, which turned out to be the moon. But this is from that satellite they got way, way, way out in orbit that's taking these photos. Pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool. What do you guys think? Is this related to the sunspot thing? The timing's right. They were trying to hide something from somebody. We're led to believe it's child porn from the janitor, which again, how's the update on that? Have they charged the guy yet, Frank? No charges filed. Still.
No charges filed. No updates. I check every couple of days, and yeah, no updates whatsoever. Again, there was this unsubstantiated rumor going around. They found a dead body up in the hills nearby, but no follow-ups on that I could see. Okay.
So what do you guys think? Is this related? Is this legitimate? Is this just hokey stuff that nobody knows what they're talking about? It's just one of those Kardashian type UK websites, because they like to make clickbait like crazy, and they don't give a damn what kind of stuff they put out. It makes me wonder, right? So going back to, is this government disinformation, or is it just like the useful idiots? They're trying to make the money, so they don't give a damn what kind of stuff they put out, and so they just put it out. So is this real or is it not? Is it I don't know. This stuff, when it dumps out on these UK tabloids, it makes me clearly suspicious as hell. But that the photograph itself is looks pretty legit to me. I mean, it could be doctored, of course, but you see the little pixels on the zoom in, so it's a little bit harder to do there, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Some more comments here. Let's see. Kimberly says, that's what Ronald Reagan said, that an alien invasion would bring us together. Maybe. I think we'd scatter like cockroaches. Todd says, last few topics aren't my cup of tea. Perfect. And Kelly says, Tim, his picks. Yes, that's right. We got. I'll dig those up. One sec. And then Adam says that they're using the aluminum in the air at the U.S. government or whoever is spraying to cloak and bend light so we can't see them. Huh, that's an interesting angle there. I know that the geoengineering is happening, right? With the sulfates in the sky there, but I don't know. I haven't heard that stuff. That's pretty cool. To cloak and bend light so we can't see them. That would sort of be like a government complicit in keeping the aliens cloaked from us. That's crazy. Great thought. Kelly says, have you guys heard that some telescope captured something coming out of a black hole? I hadn't heard that. You see that one, Frank?
No, I'll take a look if we keep talking about it.
Okay. And then Kimberly says, which is a great point. Then what do you want to talk about, Todd? Exactly, Todd. What do you want to talk about? Todd says, I didn't mean today, Kim. I was talking about the last few shows. Okay, it's all right. It's okay. Our feelings are not hurt. We're trying to do some different things because, we could do the same show over and over, talk about aliens over and over. But, it gets monotonous. We run into some of the same news, and it's nice to look into some other things. So that's why we do some other stuff to mix it up. So yeah, cool. If you don't like them, all good, man. We appreciate you coming back. Kelly says stars are used as jump gates. Yeah, we talked about that. I'm not entirely clear on the technology there, but again, I'm not a Elon Musk type physicist or engineer or whatever it is that he does or doesn't do. We saw a video kind of talking about that stuff, right? What do you guys think, though? So this particular image was taken of the sun. It says the UFO can be seen at the top of the sun. You see it right there in the photograph. It's definitely anomalous. Doesn't look like a sunspot, like or a what do you call them? What, like Frank was saying, It's more like less like plasma and more like an actual object. So what is this? Is this related to that sunspot thing? Remember, they closed it down. They closed the observatory down. They closed down 2 post offices. They evacuated, and for like 2 weeks, nobody knew anything. And Black Hawk helicopter, Men in Black showing up. FBI goon squad, and then they're telling us that it's definitely child porn on a laptop. But what's the date there? September 30th, 2018. It's pretty close. Pretty close.
Now, another interesting sun-related topic. I just posted the link for you if you want to grab that. This Parker Solar Probe also launched recently during this time. So again, this is the solar probe. The NASA's Parker Solar Probe mission, which is scheduled to launch in July 2018, will come within 3.9 million miles of the sun. This specifically shielded probe is designed to endure temperatures up to 2,500 degrees and solar radiation intensities 475 times higher than we're used to on Earth. So they're launching this thing towards the sun. There's a little infographic there that shows the planned route. I don't know if you pulled that up, but basically it's going to whip by Venus and then kind of orbit very, very close to the sun. And again, interesting that the solar observatory shut down, these UFO photos, and this mission are all happening around the same time. There's this strange conflux of events occurring where all of a sudden we're interested in the sun for whatever reason that may be. I don't know. I don't know if there's something coming out of there. And again, we've seen photographs and videos before of UFOs orbiting the sun. So maybe this mission, which we've kind of denigrated before, we've kind of asked ourselves, why the hell are we sending something so close to the sun if it's going to burn up? Isn't that a gigantic waste of money? Well, maybe this is the spy plane, right? Sending the spy plane over China to grab some information. Maybe we're sending our spy plane around the sun to see what's really going on there.
Yeah, so when that thing was happening with Sunspot, some of the speculation that I heard was that they were using those scalar waves to actually generate like mini explosions in differing intensities from the sun. Like we were actually manipulating the sun somehow. And so that was one of the speculation things. So is that happening? I mean, that would make sense that if we could control the sun in some way, shape, or form, that we would be more interested in the sun currently and send something up there. But I mean, otherwise, I just don't see the scientific value of melting a satellite into the sun. Anybody have ideas on that? Marco says 100 thumbs up. Aliens. Yes, thanks Marcos. Thanks for showing up. Adam says, what if everything you were told and led to believe was guaranteed 100% the story? What if it's reality? It's much deeper than you think. It sounds crazy, but not just a question. That's the whole, the universe is a simulation, right? Like kind of leads us down that path, or things similar. Is it just because we see reality one way doesn't mean that's reality. We've talked about human beings and our inability to process, tons of data in different ways. We just can't do it. We're not equipped. So without our science, and our feeble science at that, we're just not. We're just kind of stuck in the same reality. So maybe we're all missing something. That's a good point. What do you think about that one, there, Frank?
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I could be at this very moment, right now, sitting in a padded room, locked in a straitjacket, smashing my head against the wall, mumbling to myself. I don't know that I'm here. I don't know that I'm talking to you. I don't know anything. And that's, I think, something we have to keep in mind is we really don't know anything. There's so much out there. We think we know everything. We really don't. And the mind is capable of tricking you in a myriad of ways, and it happens all the time. And so you've got to keep asking yourself questions. You've got to keep looking for answers. And I hate latching onto these theories that, the world is a simulation, or that we know this and we know that, because we really don't know. We don't know anything, and that's what we're here for, is just keep asking questions, keep trying to figure out what's going on out there. And, they're trying to make it more confusing than they need to, I think. They're trying to spread misinformation and lies. to keep us confused, to keep us wondering. But what can we do but keep trying anyway? So that's the show, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's what we're trying to do. Good comment there, Adam. Thank you. Kimberly says, Men in Black. Yeah, that's the sunspot with the Black Hawk helicopter and the goons, the goon squad, as I like to call them, Men in Black. Michael says, I think they would be trying to create a biblical prophecy by doing so. Maybe. I know Frank was about to chime in there. I heard you. You want that one, don't you?
Yeah, you have to wonder, would they create a biblical prophecy or would they create a Muslim prophecy, right? Because think about it, there's more of certain religions on the world than others. I think we're taking too much personal information into it. We're saying, well, we're Christians, so they're going to create a Christian prophecy. But if they really want to impact the world and spread chaos and fear, I think they'll be targeting different religions entirely.
All at the same time. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Here's that story that Kelly suggested. I just put it up. NASA just saw something come out of a black hole for the first time ever. Did you get a chance to read that one real quick there, Frank? Actually, it's not much.
Yeah, so let me pull it up because I closed that window. But again, so what was this X-ray visualization of a black hole? And I think there's the image there if you have it on the screen. Black hole emission of this radiation of some kind, and then it travels off into the distance. Now, again, this is from NASA, so let's take this with a grain of salt. Here we are looking at this black hole. Looks phenomenal. We got reds and blues and greens and big black mass in the center and this purple energy shooting out. Wow. Wowee, right?
Wowee.
It's complete bullshit because they don't get color images. This is all Photoshop. This is all manipulated. We should have that clip where the NASA scientist is just making shit up. Remember that clip? We should have that on cue for every episode because they color correct. They just add information. This is not a real image. This is as fake as you can get. So I take these things with a grain of salt. I think they saw some kind of radiation, but that's about it. I don't think they actually saw something as if this picture indicates.
Okay, I'm with you. It looks impressive though, but a lot of their NASA stuff, after they've doctored it and photoshopped and added sounds and colors and all of that stuff, looks pretty impressive. Okay, this is one that Tim sent here. I'm going to link this for Frank too. So this is a shot. We were talking on the last show about the Elon Musk rocket. We were talking on Sunday, and this is a video of the SpaceX Falcon 9 taking off above downtown LA. So here we go. I'm just going to play this real quick. And thank you, Tim, for the contribution to the show, as all of the rest of you. We appreciate it a lot. And here we go. We're going to play this sucker. Action. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, hold on. Let's back that up. All right. Action. All right. Wow, it actually looks like a... Whoa. That's amazing. I'm going to play that one or two more times. You guys see what I'm seeing? That's incredible.
There's so many drones in the sky. I'm seeing, like...
Yeah, they're flying all over. Okay, so the thing launches. It looks like a little dot, and then it explodes, and then does its separation, and keeps on trucking. That's pretty amazing. That is good stuff. That is good stuff. I like the time lapse. That's amazing. Very nice. Very nice. We had some cool pictures that Kelly and Tim sent in, but this is a video somebody took. Pretty cool. Good stuff. Okay, so Adam says, do you any of you guys remember? I think it was 5 years ago. NASA apparently nuked the moon. Question I have is, how come you can't find it in Information Archive? I remember. I remember if they did it. Did they nuke the moon? I don't remember hearing that. You, Frank? I know they talked about nuking Mars to somehow terraform it. That was one of the conversations, but I'm not so sure that they actually nuked the moon. Oh, you know what? I think it was one of the 1950s. It was they were talking about doing it. It came out in one of those FOIA requests. It was they were going to just do it to see what would happen, but I don't think they ever actually did it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure what you mean. Remember that, Frank?
So I'm looking for this now. I'm seeing they've done a kinetic strike on the moon where they've just launched something at it very quickly. So kind of like dropping a rock on it. But I'm looking for a verification of the source. Oh, here we go. The U.S. had an insane plan to drop a nuclear bomb on the moon. So I believe you're right. There was a plan to do it, and I don't think they ever... Yes, here we go. A declassified report by the Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center from June 1959 shows just how seriously they considered the plan, called Project A119. In general, they wanted to investigate the capability of weapons in space, as well as to gain further insight into the space environment and detention of nuclear devices. So they did have a plan to do it. I don't believe they ever actually went forward on that plan, from what I can see here. Or
yeah,
that's what they're telling us.
Yeah, so I think that's his point. He remembers it happening, and you know what? I don't doubt that you saw it or remember it in some form. We've talked about that quite a bit, where there's tons of contradicting information over the years. Like we said, there's water on the moon. There's not water on the moon. There's life on the moon. There's not life on the moon. There's frozen water. Then there's liquid water. Then there's. It seems like, if you go back over the last 15 years, they change their mind every 3 months or 6 months, and there's new articles talking about the same old tired crap. So I wonder. And we think, is it kind of like the revisionist history type thing where they want you to think it's anew, or I don't know. Again, maybe, yeah. So somebody mentioned further down that maybe that's the Mandela effect. Possibly. I don't know. Good one, Adam. If you can find anything about that,
interestingly, sorry to interrupt there, but remember we talked about in that moon episode, the moon ringing like a bell. Well, that was apparently due to quakes on the moon. So the Apollo missions left seismometers on the moon that recorded these quakes that described the moon as ringing like a bell. Now, we have earthquakes on Earth because the core is geologically shifting and causing this. Or so they say. It's another show entirely. Anyway, the moon is not geologically active. It's dead. It's completely solid all the way through, or so they say again. So I wonder what would cause an earthquake on the moon, if not a strike of some kind, if not an asteroid strike, if not a nuclear strike, if not a kinetic strike. Interesting.
Yeah, so they did, huh? They were thinking about it and did some kinetic action on the moon. I wonder. A few more comments here. Kimberly says, you're right. They want to use Islam for the prophecy, for the NWO, which would be the New World Order, of course. And she says, according to what the aliens were trying to say. Really? You got that message that they were using Islam for the prophecy and the New World Order, eh? Again, we'd love to hear that tale.
Let's be controversial here.
Okay.
And say something we probably shouldn't say, but, look at Islam today and look at how they react to certain stimuli and what they do and how they choose to comport themselves. And if aliens or fake aliens showed up and said, well, you guys are the chosen people, you should take over the world. Well, I'd be scared to live in that world. Let's put it that way.
That's a good point. And well said. I didn't want to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. I'm glad you did. Adam says, the best way to keep obedience in modern-day slavery financially is to manipulate the facts. How extreme they decide to manipulate would blow your mind. Something simple could be blown out of proportion. Something extraordinary could be dumbed down to a simple pedophile. Yes, like the child porn on the laptop that they didn't charge anybody for, but they shut down the whole town for 2 weeks. And exactly. Again, I pointed that out when we first talked about that article. It's first they put child porn, right? So the second you speak out against it and say, no, that's a false narrative, then somehow, some way you open yourself up to somehow advocating for child porn. You see how they do these things? Like I mentioned this when we first talked about this article, and when the thing came out, it's like it's intentional. It's the most grotesque thing they can throw at you. So if you defend it or deny it, I mean, then you're defending it. You know, it's like it kind of goes hand in hand. So anyway, there you go.
It's a trump card that they can play whenever they need to shut something up or lock someone away. You know, you're not going to look too close at that evidence because, well, who would want to?
Exactly. It's yeah. There's not many people that find that type of material positive, let's say. So Adam says they showed live coverage of it for 1.5 days on Fox, and it vanished. They said they were looking for water or ice crystals under the lunar surface, and he says they did do it. I wonder if it was like more of the kinetic strikes. Yeah, see if you can dig that up. You said it disappeared, so I guess that's the point. You remember it happening, and you can't find anything talking about it. So interesting. And then somehow I'm going to find the coverage footage, and I'll send it directly. Yeah, if you find it, we'd love to see it. We'll talk about it. We'll put it on the show for sure. And this is the thing, right? We talk about this, guys. We've talked about all kinds of things and how they can redact information. They can report something, and then if everybody deletes it from the internet, right, it doesn't exist anymore. And so in doing this show, we are creating our own narrative. We're actually pulling up these news articles, and if they disappear, guess what? We have a record. We talked about them. We looked at them. We've got dates. We've got times when this stuff was live. So once we talk about something on this show, we have it. Okay? Like, you have to pry it from our cold dead hands if you want to go all Second Amendment. But you see, they can't redact it from everybody. And that's the thing. When you do records like this is a record. So all the things you guys talk about, important. So thank you for all that. Okay, a few more here. Juan says, off topic, do you guys have any merch like shirts or hats available? Not yet. We do have ideas for that, so that would be really cool. And we have the means and the attitude to do something. But if you do want to join something in the meantime, go to troubledminds.org and sign up for the mailing list there. It's on the top right. And that's our website. And you'll have access to our bonus shows, which we still haven't rolled out, but we will, I promise. And you will, when we do roll that out, you'll be the first to know. So join the mailing list, and we'll do something like that, hats and shirts or whatever. I'd like to wear one. What about you, Frank? Would you wear a Troubled Minds hat or a shirt?
No, I would wear a Martian Red Kush hat, though. That sounds amazing.
Well, maybe that's the meme. Maybe that's the shirt. Okay, Kimberly says, yep. And Kelly says, how can they hear a bell sound when there isn't any noise in space? Because of the vacuum in space. Oh, is that a checkmate?
No. So it wasn't a bell sound. It was a reverberation. So this is the problem with journalism, is they don't understand anything. And so right. A bell reverberates, and that reverberation is the ringing you hear. Well, the seismometer recorded a reverberation in the moon's surface. So activity, fading activity, activity, fading activity, like a frequency, just like you would see in a bell.
Oh, like if you were tapping a tuning fork, it would be the same sort of thing.
Yeah, same sort of thing.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Frank, for setting us straight. And then Kelly, to continue, says if that's the case, then there's an atmosphere on the moon. Again, to be determined, right? We have very few people who have actually been there. So it's still open for debate. So let's see what happens when Elon Musk actually gets up there and is live streaming this thing. Actually live streaming this thing, not like they did in the 1960s. Was it 67? Yeah, I think so. And then so Michael says, wouldn't destroying the moon affect the Earth's tides? Yeah, hell yeah. I think it would kill us all, right? If there was no moon, we're all done. This whole world turns upside down. So yeah. There's all kinds of bad stuff. So we don't want to kill the moon. Let's not do that. Let's not make that top priority. But hey, guys, this is a live show, right? What's the date today? We'll do the date. It's October 9th. So after listening right now, and it's October 9th, this is a live show. You got some comments? We'd love to hear them. 702-957-1037. Kelly's called in. Todd's called in. Cole has called in. And we've been nice to all of them. You can ask them. Please call in, and we'll be nice to you too. We want feedback on the show. We want to talk about the stuff we're talking about. Just some comments, anything. Just to say hi. Just to test our phone lines. Give us a call. We'd love it. Continuing on.
So there was a YouTube comment here addressing something which I'm quite fascinated in, and I know you've kind of poo-pooed this idea a little bit, but the idea that the space station is actually entirely fake. That all those space station videos, all those people up there, they're just faking the entire thing. And where this comes from is there's videos, recordings on the space station where they catch their clothing on wires. So it appears as if they're not floating in the air. They're not bobbing back and forth in zero gravity. They're actually just wired up in harnesses. And when they do flips and so on and so forth, acrobatics, it's all, what's that circus act that I'm drawing a blank on? Cirque du Soleil type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entirely fake. What do you think about that? Have you watched any of those videos? I doubt it, because that's going down a rabbit hole that even I struggle to go down. But we're going to have to do a show on that, I think, because you see wires. You see these people in the space station suspended from wires.
You know what? We actually haven't poo-pooed that idea. I like that term, though, because we talked about many shows back. I can't remember which because they all kind of blend together, but we did talk about in a news article. Remember this, Frank? This, or maybe it was actually in the Moon episode where we had you in particular had some photographs and it looked like they were on wires. And you know, it was just yeah. So no.
Did we cover that already?
Yeah, I think it was brief, but we did. We kind of glazed over it. But I'm nearly certain, like 95% sure, we talked about it briefly. So you know, again, this is probably like our 35th show or something like that, right? So if you add them all up, we're somewhere in that range. So there's a ton of stuff we've talked about. So I don't think we've necessarily poo-pooed that idea. We just haven't really covered it in depth. We've glazed over it and I think labeled it plausible because, you know, you never know. Like the propaganda mill, that the crap they feed us, who knows? Who knows? Like I'm let's say halfway convinced that maybe the first moon landing, maybe the first one was faked. Okay, I think we went there probably, but I think maybe the first or the second, fake. You know, like I don't know. I don't have proof. If I had proof, I'd be cashing it in, right? But I don't. But from what's out there, it seems to me. So you know, that's a good observation, and thanks for the comment. Okay, and then I've got some more. Want to do some more here? Hold on, a couple more comments, and then we'll jump to the next one. You got another article on deck here, Frank?
Yeah, I'm trying to find these wires. I'm obsessed with this idea that they're actually just in some underwater thing, and they're all floating in the. Okay. I'm distracted. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into it.
That's right. Okay, so
why don't you pick an article here? I've distracted myself.
That's okay. Pick one out. Get it ready. I'm going to finish up 3 or 4 more comments, and then we'll jump into that. Kelly says, "No, I'm saying I heard the same story, and the astronauts claimed a bell noise." Oh, I see what you mean. So if the astronauts said it and heard it, then yes, there must be an atmosphere. I got you. And then Adam says that Elon Musk will be dead within a year's time if they don't want to keep him around. Don't you think? Okay, let's spitball here a little bit on that. Don't you think if Elon Musk ended up like murdered in some dark alley somewhere and cut up in 1,000 pieces, that would be suspicious? like JFK type suspicious? Huh, that's an interesting thought. Definitely.
So I actually had an article on tap here, but the title of it, I just pulled it up. Richard Branson warns Elon Musk to look after your health after Tulsa billionaire's Twitter meltdowns. So more of this hit piece on Elon Musk where, you know, they're basically trying to devalue Tesla. And in devaluing Tesla by attacking Elon Musk, they take away his money. They take away his money, SpaceX loses funding. Take away the funding for SpaceX, well, all of a sudden, you can look at it 2 ways. We're no longer going to space. Or the second way is Richard Branson is now the one in space. So there is this attack on Elon Musk. And here we have Richard Branson himself warning Elon Musk to look after your own health.
That definitely seems like a not the what you would expect it to be, you know, like a deeper, darker suggestion there. Interesting. So yeah, that's a great comment there, Adam, because maybe that's where we're headed. Maybe he's telling him kind of in code publicly, hey, Slow down, buddy. You might be in trouble. Interesting. Interesting. I like the how the comment literally led to the article that you had pulled up there, Frank. That's amazing. Kimberly says, seems fake, yes. I'm not sure what which part we were talking about because I'm so far behind in the comments. Kelly says, I've seen the videos and man, it sure doesn't look like they're in space. No, that's a great video. NASA tells us we have never been there, in their own words. I think it takes some interesting interpretation of their words because they would never openly admit that, you know. So Adam says, the evidence that I have research suggests there's a living population on the moon and there is living human beings on Mars. Maybe. I'll go with maybe on that. If you get articles, send them to us, man. Send them to the Little Green Men page. And this is the thing, right? The reason we do this type of show, where it's just kind of free-for-all, and we want to hear what you guys have to say, what you're talking about, what you're into, what kind of articles you've seen, the research you've done. And if you have that type of research, we'd love to see it. So send us some links to those articles, and we might do a show talking about just that stuff. So, perfect. Michael says, that's a threat. Yeah, exactly, right? Look after your health. That seems like a thinly veiled threat, yes? It's definitely, I think. Okay. Sorry, we're all caught up, Frank. Anything there on YouTube we can answer?
Ooh, hexagon of Saturn. You've seen that. That's an interesting little phenomena where there's the giant hexagon on Saturn's surface, so a cloud cover formation. I don't know if you know too much about that.
I do not. Is that a comment on YouTube?
Yeah, addressing that. Let me pull up a picture. Talk for a second.
Okay. All right. So then, Michael says, Project Pegasus. I'm not sure what that is, but oh, I see. No, I don't see. Elaborate, please. I'm not familiar with that one. And then Fred says, I'd like to see that evidence. Yeah, I agree. If you've got some links about that stuff, let's talk about it. Send it to us. And if we don't have time, we had about 20 minutes left in this show. So if you want to call in, guys, we're running out of time. If you guys listen to this show, you know I'm always begging for calls. I'm going to continue. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. We'll put you on the show. You can talk to Frank and Mike. And, that's the reason we do this. That's the reason we have open lines. It's important. Let me explain. You know how the government is completely not transparent whatsoever? We think that's bullshit. And so when we talk about this stuff, we want to be open. We want you guys to be able to pick up the phone and say, Mike, you're full of shit. And we'll talk about it. We're big boys. We can handle that. Of course, if you're here listening, you probably don't think I'm entirely full of shit. But if you want to, we're open to that. There's an open phone line. Discord's ready. We're reading the comments. That's why we do it. Transparency. So we want to be held accountable by you guys and vice versa. So please give us a call. 702-957-1037. And we'll talk about all kinds of things. What you got there, Frank? You find something? Rudy says they're watching us.
Yeah,
maybe.
I put a picture in here for you of this hexagon on Saturn. So this is a very interesting phenomenon, natural or otherwise. They're really not sure what causes this. But here's a photo from JPL. This is a true color view of Saturn's north polar region, taken by Cassini's Imaging Science Subsystem on June 26, 2013. So Saturn's mysterious hexagon is visible in the center. So again, this is one of these strange things out there. Normally you expect a cloud to be random or to be circular, perhaps like a hurricane. But here, what do we have? We have a hexagon. And this thing persists. This thing moves around, changes colors, changes shapes, but it always maintains this strange pattern. And no one really understands why. There have been several theories put out there due to magnetism, due to activity within Saturn itself. But this thing, yeah, I don't know. What have you heard much about this?
I've never even seen or heard of this till just now. It is on the NASA site, actual nasa.gov, so it does make me suspicious that it might be photoshopped. But it is amazing. That's a fantastic picture. And it is, do we see that shape in nature? It looks like a bolt, right? Like you put the bolt, or it looks like a nut and you put on the bolt, right? It literally is that shape. almost man-made. It's crazy. That's a pretty crazy shape there. And so it persists, eh? So they say.
Yeah, now we could go into I guess the crackpot attempt to explain this is there is some kind of Saturn moon matrix where the Saturn is actually controlling our minds. This is David Icke talking about this stuff. I haven't looked too much into this, but the idea is that there's a bunch of historical references. There's a bunch of biblical references and statues and stuff that represent Saturn. And Saturn, again, is one of these gods in ancient Greece, and so on and so forth. And the idea is that Saturn is controlling us, that there's something out there controlling the world from this planet. And these are phenomena appearing. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this, but these are phenomena appearing that kind of give that away a little bit.
Saturn is the father of all the gods. So there's that. And all the titans as well. So interesting. There's a what would you call that? A genesis, so to speak. Interesting. Adam says you have to think that any evidence they're going to find, you're not going to find it on YouTube. You have to dig deep. You have to know someone that has black clearance. I do not know you. Yeah, YouTube, he's like Facebook. It's monitored very closely for any leaks. Once those leaks are spotted, they are instantly pulled from the public eye. Yeah. Voice to text sucks. He's apologizing for the weirdness of the voice to text. I do the same thing. It pisses me off. But yeah, no. So that's a good point. So of course, if you have some kind of clearance and you put this stuff out, of course you're discredited instantly, and possibly arrested and put away. And they say there's an avenue for whistleblowers, right? For when the government's misbehaving, but they don't take kindly to that stuff. They just don't. There's supposed to be a way for you to safely do that, but it's look at who are the guys. Not that I'm making heroes of these guys. I want to be clear, but what's his face? WikiLeaks. What's his name? I know
Julian Assange.
Yes, Julian Assange, and Edward Snowden. So guys like that, right? They're actual whistleblowers, but look, they're in exile. They can't come home. If they do, they're going to be prosecuted. So, I don't want to make heroes of them because, I feel two ways about it. But, there it is. If you know too much and you put it out, you get in trouble. That's for sure. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Fred says that's cool. He's talking about the hexagon here. It's pretty sweet. I agree. So one more time, guys, we got about 15 minutes left. 702-957-1037. Give us a call. You can get on the stream, and you can tell your friends, hey, look, I was on this stream. the stream that you haven't heard of, I was on this. But just call and say hi. 702-957-1037. Click on Discord right there on the Facebook stream and tell us hi. Feedback on the show is good. We're going to do some more, hopefully, scary Halloween shows. So if you're into that, let us know. If you're not, let us know. Whatever. So what do you want to hear? What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about? That's why we're here. Why we're doing this. You sounded interested there, Frank. What made you interested?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that Edward Snowden is a fraud. And this is a very unpopular opinion. But I'm pretty sure that whole thing was a planned psyop. A plan to convince the American people and to convince the world at large that we have this technological superiority over everyone out there. So oftentimes we think of, I think we all have heard this, but the TSA is security theater, right? They don't actually do anything. They don't catch the bad guys. They don't find bombs. They don't do anything. They're there to appear as if they can catch them. They're there to play a role in a theater, play a role in a show, to make people that want to smuggle things in think that they can't do it. That's their job, because they've done several, reliability tests on these guys, and people can bring whatever they want in, and no one ever catches them. So this is the idea, that security isn't necessarily in place, but so long as you portray security as being in place, people will follow the rules. People act in line. And I'm pretty sure this Edward Snowden character is security theater on a grand stage, that he's leaked all this data to convince the world that there are lists out there, that there are government agents listening to this Discord conversation right now, that there are people out there that know your every detail and know everything about you. I'm pretty sure that's false. I'm pretty sure there are no lists. I'm pretty sure that even if they are collecting all this data on us, they can't process it. They don't have enough processing power to go through it. And the reason I think this is because I go back to that Apple phone character. So what was it? The San Bernardino shooter? Is that the right guy with the Apple iPhone that was locked?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so they couldn't get in a guy's phone. They couldn't get his details. They couldn't get into that device. But if this security apparatus that Edward Snowden suggested is in place, well, we should have access to that data already. We should have access to all this information at our fingertips, or the government should, to put it that way. But they don't. They can't get into it. They don't know anything. So I'm pretty sure this Edward Snowden character is just playing a role in the act on a grand stage.
It's complicated. So here's the things. Here's what they tell us. They say that our Fourth Amendment, our expectation of privacy is intact, even in the digital age. Okay, that's what they tell us. That are, we shouldn't be subjected to unreasonable searches. Okay, and the way they do that is they're collecting data all the time, of course, but it's encrypted. And so the government themselves don't have direct access to it without lawyers and warrants, and this, which has been in the news a lot recently, the FISA court, which would be a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. So in spite of all these things, I'm not sure why they wouldn't be able to crack into this guy's phone with that type of information, or without getting that kind of warrant. It doesn't make sense at all. So you're right. There's some inconsistencies for sure, but I don't know. It comes down to what you believe. Do you think that they're really collecting every single thing that we say, every single digital anything that goes out onto the internet? Do you think it's collected by some shadowy government agency? And if so, think about this. How many analysts would it take to parse all of that data? How many? I don't think there's enough people on the planet. Like, some people text message faster than I can think. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine the entire internet and how information moves. How could you possibly collect and parse all of that? I just don't think it's possible. I mean, I think it's possible to collect it maybe, but to parse it one way or the other and like whittle it down to something actionable, I think that's anyway, that's getting into the weeds on some other stuff, but you get it, right? You get my point? Make a little bit of sense?
Some people would go to AI and say AI is going to do everything. AI is going to solve the problem. It'll process everything. It'll conquer the galaxy. But we can go back to the AI show we did on the topic, and I think AI is a bunch of bullshit, quite frankly. I think it's all baloney. The best example I can think of is that Google conference where they demoed the AI assistant that would solve all your problems, it would book your appointments. It would do everything for you, this Google cutting-edge AI assistant. Well, they faked the entire thing. So there you go. It's not going to do anything. And I think you're right, is they're collecting the data, but they can't do anything with it. And that was the point. That was Edward Snowden coming out and saying, you're collecting all this data, and they know what you're doing. You should do what we tell you. Yeah, it's all nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, parsing all that information. Imagine, just think about it. So we sat here, we streamed for 2 hours. You guys have done tons of comments. You sent us, videos or pictures that we put up. We've kind of jumped around haphazardly, a little bit random, a little bit not random. And imagine, like, wasting an analyst's time going through this. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, sure, we might all be on the list, fine, but I just don't think the resources are there to actually go through and put us on the list, to even make a list. I'm sure there are lists, But you know, are we dangerous here because we want to talk about interesting things? I don't think so. Yeah, you know, I don't feel dangerous. Do you feel dangerous, Frank? Oh jeez. Oh geez, what do we do?
I'm gonna pass on that question.
What did we do? Okay, a few more comments. Hey guys, we're winding down. We got about 5-7-ish minutes left. If you want to get on the show, 702-957-1037. Please give us a call. We do this because we want your calls. We do this because we want you to get on Discord. We want you to talk to us. We want to hear what you have to say. Adam says, you don't want to give your slaves real information because they might just not want to play the game. That's true. That's true. And then those guys aren't real. They put them out there to spread fear. He's talking about Snowden and Julian Assange. Good point, says Kimberly, and right, says Adam. So Rudy, what's up? Thanks for showing up. Kimberly says, doubtful. Too many people to keep track of. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's just too much information. And you know, think about how much a government analyst makes, and then let's you know, not because of the quality of the people that work for the government, but let's say because of the bureaucracy they have to deal with. So they're going to be less productive than a normal person. You know what I'm saying? So it just it doesn't make sense. There's not enough people to be snooping all the time on everybody. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it's happening, but to what level? I'm skeptical. Adam says, none of you already have a supercomputer. It's supposed to be fiction, but it's real. Well, okay, maybe that's a show all by itself. Supercomputer. Fred says, I think they are looking for specific words or terms to act upon. I think so too, but here's the thing. Again, so just like Frank said, if you teach a smart robot to look for jihad, let's say, or overthrow the government, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many stupid kids say that stuff constantly, all day? You know, like, think about the internet and think about, like, Reddit, or think about Twitch. Have you guys ever been on Twitch? Holy shit. We're streaming on Twitch right now, by the way. So if you Twitch kids are watching, holy shit, you kids are amazing. Thanks for watching. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the stuff that young people say to get a rise is all the shit that's gonna trigger that list. You know what I'm saying? Or like those terms. Like, that's the type of stuff they say. So can you imagine? I can't even imagine just going through Reddit, just Reddit, and trying to be like, okay, find the terrorists. You know what I'm saying, Frank? It's like there's so many people that just say shit that they don't mean because they want to impress somebody, or they want to feel strong or beastie or whatever, whatever the word is, whatever kids say these days. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine just going through Reddit. Go, Frank, here's all the data. Here's literally, you download all the data. Here's all the terabytes. Find the terrorists.
Yeah, and there's a very good point to make there too, is that, and okay, I'm going to put a big disclaimer on here in case I'm incorrect about my entire theory, but I'm saying this speculatively, hypothetically. Should I be a terrorist? Should I develop a plan to overthrow the government? I'm not going to say that out loud. I'm not going to say that straightforward. I'm going to use code. I'm going to speak in a different language. I'm going to refer to the president as an apple and my plan as a skinning knife or something. I'm going to couch it in different terms. I'm going to use different phrases, and I think that any intelligent person would, right? So take it in that perspective, where we're talking about apples and now apple peelers, and what government is going to look at that? And if they do start looking at that, well, that's just more information they have to sift through.
Well, exactly. But here's the thing. So that the more code type you get with your language, right, the more in-depth they have to get with their analysis. You see what I'm saying? So it could be complete nonsense. And like I said, just imagine all the dumb kids that say, or let's say dumb kids is a little harsh. Okay, I'm an old man. I'm an angry old man, okay? But let's say the angry youth, okay? Imagine all the times they say things like overthrow the government. Right? Or things like, whatever ends up on that list. They say it a lot on the internet. They say it a lot. It's a lot, man. So the thing is, how do you filter that shit out? It becomes just a giant mess of data. And so literally you have all the data in the world at your fingertips. Now go, like I said, go Frank, make something of this. It's nearly impossible because without code breaking people that are speaking in those codes you described, the apple and the apple peeler or whatever, there's just no way without knowing what their code is. It's a lot of data. It's a lot of data is my point.
Yeah, and so I think this goes back to a topic we cover quite often is conditioning. They've conditioned us to believe that if we say certain things or if we act in certain ways, well, the FBI is going to knock on our door. They've conditioned us to believe that they're all-knowing, all-seeing, and that we can't step out of line. But I don't think that's true. I really don't. And I think that Edward Snowden leaking these details is just another step in that conditioning. They've convinced us of these things even though they're not true whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's happening. I just don't think that it's possible to, literally pull Fred out of the list here in this chat and be like, he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense to me. Or Michael Strange, he's the ringleader. Get him. he's sowing dissent. No, come on, get it. Frank, he's the guy. Frank, get him. Come on, guys. I don't know. I'm skeptical. Not skeptical of the collection. I'm skeptical of the analysis necessary to make something of all that data. That's all. Okay, anyway, let's keep on trucking here. Adam says, they put me on a list. I'm not allowed to do Western Unions or MoneyGrams. I don't know why. I don't know why either. Maybe you being here put all of us on a list. Thanks, buddy. Congratulations. Fred says, I think they're looking for specific words or terms to act upon. I think I read that already. Kelly links a YouTube video. Late in the game for that. Let's see. Adam says, I have a question. You guys watch the news, right? Have you seen the newscasters blinking Morse code? Some politicians do it as well. Weird. I don't know what to think about that. We could look into that further. If you have examples of like a video where they decode the Morse code, that would be amazing. So send it to us. You know what to do. You know where to find us. Kimberly says edgy. Yeah, okay, I agree. Edgy. Michael says unless you're trying to promote it. What are we trying to promote? Just ask yourself how many times you get a knock at the door for illegal downloading. Well, the one dude that was doing the child porn at his job, they shut down the whole town for 2 weeks and rolled in Black Hawk helicopters. Anyway, you get the point. So, no, it doesn't happen, right? Like, and people do that all the time. So it's I'll bet you though, if you were a political target, I'll bet you it'd be different. I'll bet you they'd find a way to know that you downloaded that stuff illegally. So don't run for president. This is my advice. Anyway, you get the point. So all right, so we're winding down. Few minutes left here. What's up? We don't have any phone calls. 702-957-1037. We talked about all kinds of things tonight. I don't even know. I can't even sum it up. It's so much. It's so much. Can you try and sum up what we talked about tonight, Frank? I can't.
Yeah, I think we've taken a deep dive into the fundamental nature of reality, and I think my perspective in the show so far has been that we're being lied to on a daily basis. We're being conditioned to think certain things such that aliens are all powerful, aliens are all knowing, and that they can do whatever they want. And I don't think that's true. And the same thing for the government. I think that the government is not all knowing. The government cannot do whatever it wants because we're here, because we're talking about these things. That's what I took from it anyway.
Okay, that's better than I could do. We talked about all kinds of crazy stuff, but yeah, that's pretty good boiling it down. Adam says, I know I'm just too deep. I notice the small things. Yeah, hey, that's why we're here. That's why we're here, right? We're all in the same boat right now. We're in the same stream going, wow, there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot of data. See, look at us, right? Look at us. Look at all the clickbait. Look at all of the data they pour at us into our phones, into the internet, right? Look at us. We're struggling collectively here to parse this data and trying to make some kind of sense of it, because a lot of it's bullshit, a lot of it's propaganda, a lot of it's straight up fake, but there's a lot of it that's real. You follow me? So I think maybe I boiled it down. That's what we're talking about tonight. Does that add up to your synopsis there, Frank? Did I do you justice?
Sounds pretty good. I think so. Now, we have a very important public service announcement. in the form of a news story. So I want you to pull this up.
Okay.
Because this is incredibly important to talk about.
Okay, quick shout out.
Whatever it is.
Quick shout out. Craig says, I'm new here. What's up, Craig? Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Frank.
So this is from the National Post. Treasure hunters say that they told the FBI they'd found a huge Civil War gold haul, but were then duped. Okay? This is very important. So these treasure hunters were looking for Civil War gold, and they dug a hole, and they found some. It was down there. And wanting to protect their find, they called in the FBI. So the FBI shows up, and they leave, and then they go and they bring their metal detectors, drills, and other tools back to prospect this find, right? Because you claim the find, salvage rights, you get it. But when they come back, all the gold, it's gone. It's gone. So there we go. Here's your public service announcement. Never tell the government if you find gold, because they will take it from you. Okay? Just wanted to get that out there.
Okay. and then I'm going to sloppily tell you how to launder it. Take it in tiny pieces to different pawn shops all over the country. I don't know. I've never found gold, so I wouldn't know. But you know what I mean. So if you found a ton of gold, you don't think that would get somebody's attention somewhere? But I guess the message is dig it up, put it in a safe first, and then worry about cashing it. Yeah. Anyway, this is not the first one we did like this, right? Didn't we do a similar story where something happened and the government took all the gold they found?
Yeah. So in this story here, the FBI just took it. They just absconded with it entirely. But the story we covered previously, I believe it was in England, and they found some ancient Roman golden coins buried under a building. And in that case, the government didn't take it, but they just claimed that it had historical merit, and then they took it. So again, don't tell the government if you find gold, because they will take it from you.
I'm gonna leave that to Frank. There's your public service announcement from Frank. Okay. All right, so we're winding this down. Here we go. A couple more comments, and I'm gonna play the outro. Let's do this. Having too much fun over here. Business. Down to business. Here we go. All right, so if you guys are new, you know what to do. No, you don't. If you're not new, you know what to do? If you are new, I'll tell you what to do. Here we go. Outro. Got a couple comments to read, and I'll tell you what to do. Adam says, just like I couldn't access your show last few shows, it wouldn't allow me to have access. It would have to, your icon on Facebook, have to never load it. Phone settings, yada yada. See, we've been censored. Kelly's been censored. We have Chris has been censored here in the stream. I'm pretty sure Todd's been censored. So yeah, it's a real thing. It's happening. Censorship is real. And government-wise, I don't know. Facebook-wise, for sure, it's happening. We've seen it. We've got proof. We've got screenshots. So yeah, it's happening. We appreciate you sticking in, Adam, anyway, and Kelly, and everybody else. Fred, Kelly says, truth is stranger than fiction. Fred says, why the hell would you tell the FBI? And Kelly says, have a good night, everyone. Till next time. Yes. All right, so if you're new and you want to help us out, please help us out. We're not asking for money. Please go to troubledminds.org. That's our website. Please go to the links there, the social links. Find us on YouTube, find us on Stitcher, find us on iTunes, find us on Google Play Music. Please give us feedback. Please give us reviews, thumbs ups, all the social things. That's how you help us. We appreciate it a lot. We put a lot of time and effort in this show. And little help would be fantastic. So thank you guys if you're new. If you're not new, that applies to you too. Yeah, okay. So anyway, yeah. So if you want to catch us, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 9 p.m. Pacific, we stream live, just like tonight. But for now, we're done. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Frank Pierce. And from our troubled minds to yours, thanks for listening, and have a great night.